Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different here, as always. Making a little challenge for myself. I'm going to actually be shooting, doing some birding and bird photography, but I'm going to be using this Superzoom camera. This is a Nikon P1000, as I like to call it, the Stupidzoom. It has a, let's see, 125 times optical zoom, so it's an actual it's got an actual zoom, range to it, and then it changes from optical to digital zoom at the far end. So this is like a nice little camera. I don't really use it too often, at least for like serious bird photos and photography. I mainly just use it for documentation shots, or just to merely identify stuff that's far off in the distance or whatever. But for today's visit to this local cemetery, actually, I just decided basically I'm just going to try this out as a little challenge, I guess, because, under the right circumstances, it can take nice photos, which is nice. But, I much more prefer, at least, to do a traditional like DSLR camera with interchangeable lenses. Of course, because this camera has a fixed lens, it's kind of this big old bulky body, and then the zoom barrel, of course, extends a lot, pretty far out at least. But overall, it's a decent camera. It's okay. I've used it before, and it's, serves me well for at least my purposes, at least. So anyways, I'm gonna be trying it out here at this local cemetery. I just learned today or recently that it is actually the second largest cemetery in the United States, which is pretty crazy. I've definitely gone here a few times for like birding and stuff, because it is a great hot spot that a lot of people go to. It's got a lot of nice old growth trees, like most cemeteries do, and just a lot of different backdrops and habitat, really, that's largely undisturbed for the birds to inhabit. So a lot of wild turkeys and stuff here. I'm hoping today to get some like red-breasted nuthatches, or maybe even a winter wren would be pretty cool. And then also there's a particular section that recently has had some pine siskins, or the small finch-like birds that commonly hang out with other mixed flocks of goldfinches or whatever. So those have been hanging out particularly in the hemlock sections. It looks like between sections 51 and 52 is where people have been reporting them the most. You probably are guessing, did I park near there? Of course not. I don't know why. But I'm just kind of starting out here close to the entrance, and I'm going to be doing a lot of walking on foot today. Probably get quite a few miles here, but traveling light, like I said. No binoculars, because this pretty much takes the place of it. It has such a nice zoom range that it works pretty well, and also takes photos, of course, unlike binoculars would. So I'm gonna be traveling pretty light with just that setup, and yeah, really just kind of see, hopefully I can get some okay images, at least, of any kind of birds, really. But my target birds, like I said, are the nuthatch, the wren, and hopefully a pine siskin or two, or a flock of them even would be cool. Might even get lucky, honestly, and might get some like red crossbills or stuff like that. That'd be really cool to get those, but probably not. But I'm holding out, at least. We're kind of right here in the middle of, or at least the beginning of winter, and it's really getting really cold, as you can see from my layers and stuff. It's in the mid-20s today, but very overcast and cloudy, and kind of a flat light, so we'll make the most of it, of what we can. But yeah, so this video isn't going to be like really an on-location video per se, and it's not really a gear or product review of the camera. This camera is quite a few years old, at least. I'm just merely documenting my experience today. So let's go ahead and get started here. There's a few kind of ponds and little mini lakes around this entire cemetery. I did see one with looked like some mallards and some mute swans. I don't know. We're going to be probably going to that next, or to start with, at least, just right over here. So I've been talking a lot, so let's go ahead and get started here, and let's see what we can get here for the day. All right, so I just set out on foot. Yeah, I cannot express how cold it suddenly got. Like practically about a week ago, it just went from like mid 50s, even a high as 65 or 70 on some days, at least at the peak of the daylight. And now we're right down to 20s for most of the day, and sometimes 30s if you're lucky. 30 degrees Fahrenheit. It's just crazy how cold it got. But anyways, as you can see, I got it all strapped on here on my cotton carrier Scout. I think it's a Scout G2 is maybe what it's called. But we got a lot of 2 swans out there, a lot of mallards. There's belted kingfisher too. I know I've been hearing him. He's out on that tree now. He just flew further back, it looks like. There's one Canada goose over there as well. So some bigger stuff to see. And there's looks like there's 2 belted kingfishers on this little lake here, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm gonna take off on foot here, or I already am, and really just kind of see. I'm probably gonna stick mainly to the actual like driveways and the paved part. As you can see, it's not really a hike, but there are some hills here. Got my walking shoes on. I always like walking cemeteries for some weird reason. I don't know anyone personally or any particular relation here at this cemetery that's passed, but it's just a nice walk out here. And given that it's such a cold day too, not a whole lot of people out, just some walkers and runners and stuff. You know, it's open to the public obviously. And so yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to make this a gear review as well, but I'm already noticing, of course, the limitations with this particular camera. Once it gets all the way out to the far end of the zoom range, it definitely loses a lot of quality. And not that there's any heat, but there's a little bit of haze and kind of like blurriness that comes with zooming all the way out, of course. And so I've been already noticing that quite a bit. There's a 42. I don't know what markers are what. There's like these green posts, and then there's like these ones. I think these are for the actual like grave sites, 42 and 43. So, and this says 43. I don't know. I don't think they have a map, or at least I didn't get a map, that is, I'll say that. They probably have a map of some sorts. So I'm gonna go off these green posts because I think that's how the place is laid out. And like I said, see what I can find. But it's a nice kind of coniferous and deciduous trees out here. A couple birds, different, you know, common songbirds and stuff. Year-round residents, that is, are singing as well. And yeah, I look like I'm lost, just pacing back and forth. Alright, so so far so good. I've been here, I think, about half an hour, 45 minutes or something like that. Really haven't been keeping track of time. So far I've had a pretty loud calling red-breasted nuthatch, so pretty cool to get that. It's actually my first for Hamilton County, which is pretty awesome. The county I live in now, that is. And yeah, we've had some, let's see, some juncos, or probably hear them a little bit maybe. Keep flying in and out of these trees over here. Got some really dark silhouetted crappy photos of them. And some white-throated sparrows are kind of mixed throughout here as well. Let's see, I had a mockingbird, Carolina wren. I mean, you can kind of see the list here. I had to restart it so it doesn't have the nuthatch or any of the previous stuff, but there wasn't too much else besides this really. So yeah, been pretty cool. I did walk by just down this hill. Down here is the sections like the 51, 52, 53, or whatever I said for the hemlocks, and did not have any pine siskins. It was super quiet actually in that particular spot, unfortunately, and so I did not really get any of the finches that I was looking for. But my car's down there, of course, so it's in between me and the car. So I'll probably go back down there again, and seeing some other smaller stuff over here and these trees and stuff in this kind of thick area. But you can see the sun's starting to peek through a little bit. It's fairly bright, even though like I said, it is very overcast, as you can see. I think we are expecting some snow later this afternoon, but I'll probably be done here with my visit. Doesn't it sometimes feel like you're more of a weatherman than a photographer? I mean, maybe it's just me, but I feel like more often than not, I'm just always thinking about the weather, checking the forecast constantly, and talking about it, especially, instead of taking photos, I guess, of the moment, being in the moment at least. But I don't know, maybe it's just me at least. But anyways, I'm gonna shut up now so I can actually hear and see a little bit more closely what's around here, because there is quite a bit of activity and birds kind of flitting in and out of the trees and stuff around me here, at least in this particular spot. So it looks like there's a crow way off in the distance flying overhead, but it's a little update. It looks like I'm not even in a cemetery anymore, but I found this little like woodsy trail just kind of in the middle of the cemetery. It's kind of cool actually. So already gravitating towards the more natural part, I guess you could say, or undisturbed part of the cemetery. Yeah, update. I think I've had about 22, sounds about right, species. You know, some goldfinches have came into the fold here. Tons of nuthatches of all kinds. I've finally got some good visual looks of some red-breasted ones. Quite a few of those actually. And then also their white-breasted counterparts. So got a lot of those. Some mockingbirds kind of like close to the ground and eye level and everything. And got some pretty cool footage of the white-breasted nuthatches as well. Yeah, just a lot of activity all of a sudden, just in kind of certain particular spots at least. And so it's been going pretty well. Got some decent photos, I guess. I got some video as well of some of the species, and yeah, it's going pretty good, I think. Got some starlings up high up in the treetops, you know, just a handful of them, and kind of like a smallish flock or whatever. You know, I've taken my time with particular spots where there's a lot more increased activity or whatnot, and yeah, it's been pretty cool. You know, seeing it this time of year especially. I know I've been here in the spring, I would say the most, and you know, which is very beautiful of course in the spring here. But as you can see with this bird feeder behind me here, it's just swarming with quite a few different species. Like the chickadees are really taking a liking to it. There's been a few of the nuthatches, and did see a cardinal or two, and a few titmice. So yeah, it's been very nice. It does kind of cheapen the experience just a little bit, maybe, that I'm taking advantage of that, you know, just kind of staying a safe distance between me and the feeder and the birds. They do seem a little bit more wary, so I didn't want to disrupt them too much, so I only stuck around for a few minutes to get try at least to get a couple photos, which I think I did fairly well. And didn't take any shots per se of the feeder or the birds perched on the feeder itself, of course, but you know, just wanted to get some of them perching nearby, you know, waiting their turn to get some food. So it was definitely filled up with some striped black sunflower seeds as well, so looked like a good meal for them, of course, a nice good energy and fat source, given that it's much colder now and food sources are becoming much more scarce, especially this time of year. So, you know, took a couple images of that. You know, it's all well and done. So we got a nice pond out here. Let me see, I think there's 2 mallards out here, something like that. Yep, there's a 2 males and 1 female actually, and they're just kind of resting for the day. Images, but I've just been noticing a lot of the tree trunks and branches have really just been covered in lichen, different lichens and stuff. and I've been really liking it. But yeah, these perch, this nice perch right here would be really great. So it's nice, of course, when you're doing really just any kind of wildlife photography, but especially birds, is the perch matters a lot. At least I think, at least. It can really make or break a photo or elevate it to a higher quality. And I mean, just something with these little textures and stuff, as you can see on these branches, and just with it being eye level too, it just really drops out the background, out of focus and stuff. That would really be a great perch. That was a titmouse. I don't know if you heard it, but it was just down below there. It looked like there. I haven't seen anything perched on that, at least, but that'd be a really nice backdrop. Alright everyone, that's gonna be it for the video today. Hope you enjoyed this little mini adventure of sorts. I'm sort of lost, not fully lost, but you know, trying to find the best path back to my car, and where I parked. But it's been a nice little outing here, out here at the cemetery. Got about 22 bird species total, but that may change based on walking back, but I'm more or less walking back now. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.